Total War Warhammer 2 is something that I've been waiting for ever since it was announced back in March. Now, the first one I've put about 200 hours into so far, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Even though I felt that it felt a little bit short in some ways as a Total War game, not being able to set formations such as shield walls or cavalry wedges, for example, or the lack of naval battles. I was really hoping some of this would be resolved in the second game, but it doesn't seem to me. Oh well, it's not like I wasn't going to play this anyways. Any flaws that these games have are easy to forgive. I mean, it's Total War, but with magic and fantasy, just like I'd always hoped for. Now we really just need a Westeros-themed Total War game, and I can die happy. So when the second installment released today, I woke up early to start playing it. Wife and kids were asleep, no one was going to bother me. I put on a pot of coffee and jumped into it. I felt like a kid on Christmas morning waking up early to peek at my presents. I loaded up the title screen and was greeted by the new menu. I know it's just a menu, nothing special, but in my opinion it was a lot cleaner and had a better design than the first one. And as with any new PC game, I'm going to go into the graphic settings and fiddle around for a little bit. I was happy to see that the benchmarks included both a battle scene and a campaign scene benchmark, since both run so differently. Starting a new campaign was easy, since as of right now, there's only one option with 4 different playable races. High Elves, Lizardmen, Dark Elves, and the Skaven, which are basically just giant sewer rats. Initially, I was sort of let down by the lack of options, though Creative Assembly is apparently planning to release an option for people who own the original game to carry over their original game map and all the races, as well as all their paid DLC races. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. For now, I'm not getting my hopes up. Also, apparently, if you paid for the Blood and Gore pack, you're not going to need to pay for that again, and that should carry over as well. Anyways, so there's 4 races, with 2 leaders to choose from for each race. I generally enjoy playing as the bad guys in these games and going the evil route. Orcs were my go-to faction in the first game, followed closely by the Vampire Lords with their hordes of undead. Now, for me, the second game, the initial choice was easy. I went with the Dark Elves. There was no contest there. They looked evil as hell. And I wasn't let down. I picked the Dark Elf Sorceress, Morthai, even though the game said that she was the harder one between the 2 Dark Elf faction leaders to start with. She could cast spells, and she started with a War Hydra in her party. Now, getting into the main campaign, it became obvious quickly that not much had changed between the first Warhammer Total War game and the second one. The basic layout was the same. The game felt like an extension of the first one. If you've played before, I'd recommend disabling the advice frequency down to minimal, since the game will hijack your gameplay with some so-called helpful hints and force you to go through some tutorial-style steps, which was really annoying. The objective of the main campaign offered me 2 different routes this time, which was a little bit different, offering to let me complete some kind of vortex victory or to beat the traditional domination victory of going out to beat the shit out of everybody else in sight. Now, the other races all have the exact same victory conditions, either being able to win through domination or through the vortex. Basically, for the vortex victory, you need to go out there and collect a special resource that you're in competition for with other factions of your own race, and to build temples to activate different steps on a progress bar with a large central temple that has this weird vortex thing floating around it. Each time that you complete a step, you're rewarded in some way. I think this was a great idea to break up the tedium of a grand campaign from just slaughtering everyone. Also, the other races are all going for the vortex route as well, so you have a bit of a time crunch that comes into effect. Graphically, I think this game looks a bit better than the first title, especially with the overworld map, though that could just be preference. Some people in the Steam forums seem to be having some performance issues here. I'm not sure if there's some bugs that need to be worked out, or if that was just some kind of problems with their systems. Now, I'm not really ready to jump into a full review at this point. I'm just putting this information together after just 5 hours of playing, and I really just wanted to share with you guys my initial reaction. I know a lot of people out there are waiting to see what others say before they go out and buy it. And all I've got to say is this. If you were a big fan of the first game, you're probably going to buy the second one at some point. Even if it sort of just feels like a giant DLC package, it's still quite a lot of fun, and it breathes new life into something that I haven't played in a while. I'd usually opt out and say, well, you know what, maybe wait for a sale. But with this game, you might be waiting for a long time. The first Total War Warhammer game is still listed at full price, and it came out in May of 2016, and it very rarely goes on any kind of sale. Though I know that it was 66% off this summer, it was like $20. But if you can stand waiting for that long, that's great. For the rest of us, I'm sure that we'll end up paying more than we really wanted to and buying a bunch of the DLCs we all know are bound to plague this title as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Anyone else playing this game yet or considering purchasing? Let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. That kind of support really does a lot for my morale. And if you hated it, leave a thumbs down too to let me know. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching.